Oh, you kids today. You're so spoiled with your Combiner War toys that are good. But you weren't there. You weren't there for the real Combiner Wars. I was there. In 2010, there were Combiners everywhere. And they fought by disguising themselves under the names of familiar Combiner teams. But the battles were all waged over who could make it to the clearance aisle at Walmart first. It was ugly. And for some, that war hasn't ended. But now, I end it. I take the final shot. This war ends tonight. Or this afternoon. Or this morning. Look, I don't know when you clicked on this. After Devastator and Revenge of the Fallen, Hasbro knew there would be a demand for proper Combiner toys. But because they're difficult to engineer and sell to kids, they hatched an idea. Let's make them small and affordable, with limbs that can automorph when you plug them into their core component. That way kids will like them, and we'll make them based on the old teams, so collectors will eat them up too. Plus, we can make the limbs swappable, and sell extra figures as new torsos. This was really ambitious, but it would give everyone what they wanted all at the same time, so it had to go over great. Look what show you're watching. How do you think it turned out? Power Core Combiners was the mess of a toy line released alongside the Generations and what would become the Reveal the Shield lines in 2010, like some abandoned Cabbage Patch Kid neither wanted to adopt. Since Generations only had deluxes, this was what they used to act as their Scout and Voyager size classes. The idea was to create Scout class figures with torso modes and pack them two ways. For $20, it came with 4 vehicle-only drones that automorphed into limbs when you attached them to these baby blue pegs. For $10, the Scout figure came with a Minicon that could transform from robot to weapon to vehicle weapon to armor for robot mode. What, you couldn't work in a Headmaster too? Keep in mind, this is a design team that for years said they couldn't do triple changers because, they're hard. And now they come up with a toy line that has to do all of this. But don't worry, this is good for us. We can go through these one at a time and see just how well the toy line actually accomplished all of these goals. So let's start with the combining. That is the main point after all. We'll begin where the main line started, with the new aerial bots led by Skyburst. They started with 2 5-packs, so this was a lot of people's first experience with the gimmick. It also warmed shelves. First, let's give the set credit. Skyburst isn't bad, but he fails to stand out in any way. Simple transformation, no frills in either mode, generally harmless. But then you combine him with his drones and oh god, what bomb hit you? Or were you holding a bomb in your hand when it went off? What is that chain of shrapnel hanging off of your shoulder? This is a recurring aesthetic for this toy line, enforced by the automorph gimmick, and this is admittedly one of the worst examples. So of course that's the one they released first. And they didn't really learn from that mistake. For instance, take the Destructicon set. At least there's the Mad Max aesthetic to the vehicles that helps it, but that's even if the gimmick works. A lot of these connection points are finicky, and some automorphs don't work without some extra handling, which kind of kills the point. Plus, they can be so awkward. One of the aerial bots you have to put on a slant to form the leg mode. It's the only drone like this, and it just doesn't look or feel right. And then there's the automorph's limitations. Since it relies on plastic rods flexing out like an accordion, no articulation in either arm. Only at the shoulder, so hope that hinge is nice and tight, cause it's all you've got. And of course, as we have learned in the past on this show, intrusive gimmicks are evil. So combining and automorph are both fails. What about the 2-packs? I will give them this. The figures they released in 2-packs are generally pretty nice. Hover and Heavy Tread in particular. Toys like Undertow and Ice Pick also show how adventurous they got with the line's alt modes. But keep in mind, these are triple changers. There's usually one mode that suffers for the others. Searchlight, for instance, has an alright torso mode, but massive kibble issues in robot mode. But the torsos are where they usually take the hit. Ice Pick and Sledge here kinda show the extremes, one being extremely wide with hips that make no sense, and one looking too thin to hold up his size, with hips that make no sense. And then you have Smolder, again in Wave 1, who would be a really nice toy if it wasn't for the torso mode. He's a Decepticon fire truck. That's unique. His robot mode looks solid and good. And his torso mode, oh dear, what have I gotten myself into? Tiny torso, and the rest looks like one of those Photoshop steroid abusers. Too bulky and disjointed to work. And this isn't me ragging on something for looking different. I like diversity, when done right. It's subjective anyway. If you like it, fine. But I have the same right to think he looks like a loose stack of Lego bricks. So the triple changing ends up hurting these toys bad. There's generally 2 modes that are good, one that is awful and drags the other 2 way down. That's a fail. And while we're at it, interchangeability doesn't work either. Scouts from 2-packs can be swapped for the ones in 5-packs, obviously. But Hasbro knew this too, so when they repainted these toys, they switched things up. 2 drones from 2 different sets join a torso that they hadn't been packed with previously. This rarely went well. To be fair, you had sets like the Destrons. Yes, they actually named a set Destrons. I kinda love that. The set is a repainted Hover, 2 Aerialbot drones, and 2 Combaticon drones. With everything loosely based on the Nemesis color patterns, it works pretty well, and Hover, like Heavy Tread, is one of the few scouts who works in all 3 modes. But then you get the other molds from those waves packed together, resulting in the Protectobots. You still think he looks okay? I'm just checking. So let's pair the worst torso mode with 2 of the worst drones. And while we're at it, the Protectobots need a tank, an APC, and an attack jet, just in case we have to level a freaking city block to get someone to the hospital. Wouldn't want an apartment complex to get in the way of saving someone's life. You'll note from my use of stock photos that even I chose not to own the Protectobots. And given what other ones I have, that should tell you something. But then there's the other side, the 5-pack scouts that became 2-packs, which actually works out worse. Take Steel Shot, for instance. He comes with a Minicon mold originally made for Searchlight. Thing about the Minicons in this series, they're designed to be quad changers, in that they all have normal humanoid articulation and vaguely take the shape of other things. Think of when you were like 5 years old pretending to be a Transformer, all scrunched up on the floor with your head down like here, arms out here, going, "I'm a car, Daddy, I'm a car!" And then they start calling services and seeing what's wrong with you. I'm sure we've all been there. In this case, the Minicons all had to be a robot, a weapon, an armor mode, and a vehicle weapon mode. As you can imagine, most of these modes aren't all that thrilling. What made the repaints worse is if it was originally made for a 5-pack, the Scout doesn't have the peg for armor mode, so you're missing the intended playability of the pack. One more off the list. And while we're talking about them, how did the Minicons turn out? Like, what's the real problem with them? You monsters. Translucent plastic. Almost all of them are translucent plastic. Am I seriously fighting a one-man war here? We've been through this. Translucent plastic can't handle stress over a long term. A tight hinge, a peg you leave in its socket too long. Any ball joint socket made of this stuff is destined to self-destruct. You're buying toys that are going to break themselves. Ignoring that, the minicons generally only have two good modes, robot and weapon, and some are designed to work well with their intended partners. Then there's the armor mode, also called better you than I mode, which almost never works, usually looking outright ridiculous. Though this one is kind of adorable. Looks like a little kid who really missed his daddy. Then there's the repaints where, once again, mixing and matching never works. Take the Chopster repaint paired with the Skyburst repaint, where armor mode protects his back. Like I said, if it started life as a disappointing 5-pack, it ended its life as a more disappointing 2-pack. So interchangeable doesn't work. The Breastmaster mode doesn't work. Quad changing doesn't work. We'll let them have the Target Master, though. Wow, that is a lot of fail. Can't I give it anything? Oh, right. Scout class. They are Scout class. Though when I think about it, the Scout size is probably why so many things are that bad. If they were larger, it'd probably work a lot better, so the Scout fails too. Is it really all that bad, though? To be fair, it has bright points. The Combaticons, despite some misassembly, was a good set to start with. And I've already reviewed the Constructicons, so you should know how much I like that set. And a lot love to tout Grimstone and the Dinobots. I am not one of them. He looks nice thanks to his matching colors, but the drones have a lot more clutter with the tails and beast legs to deal with. Also, they're beasts, so they're not going to look good swapped with anyone else. Even Grimstone is faulty, with a really kibble-restricted robot mode. I think a lot oversell the set just because they're combining Dinobots. That novelty aside, they're average for the line. But as Scouts with Target Masters, a lot of the 2-packs are fun. And there are 5-pack sets I admit I like, in spite of sharing some common issues, like Mudslinger, Steamhammer, Crankcase, and Spaz Overrun. Yeah. It has bright spots, and the idea had great potential, but it's an overall letdown of a line, and third-party offerings have since proven my stance on these from the start. If the limbs had manual transformations, it would improve so much. But this is an overview of an entire toy line, and that's not what you tune in to see. You tune in to see me punish painful plastic, and for that, I need to focus in on one. I need to pick one set and really show you just how bad and just awful it can really get. I need to review. I need to review. I think I burned through all of them in this video. I mean, after all of that, who's really left? No, 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 Shia LaBeouf, no, 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 no. I am not. You cannot make me. There's nothing. You know what? Power Core, about it. You win. You win the war. I surrender. White flag. No. Not happening. Not happening. No, absolutely not. Not him. Anyone but him. And no, this isn't set up for the next review. Okay, Yeah, I'm gonna get real with you guys. That was supposed to be set up for the next review. This actually happened because I did a whole like hour and 10-minute recording for a special Plastic Addict episode, and I accidentally deleted the footage. It was a one take, first experience, first look kind of thing. It can't be replicated or replaced. It really threw my schedule off, so rather than make you sit here and wait for me to get everything back in order, I went ahead and recorded the script that I had done. So I wanted to make sure you guys got an episode. I will be doing Crankcase at some point, but it will not be the next one. The next one will be a little bit more of your standard Plastic Addict. So thank you for the patience. I'm sorry for botching it, and hope to see you guys soon.